Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Vertek and Chibi are back from their latest adventure.
Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Golden Feather. Today is episode 95. Getting up there even more, 1 week at a time. This title is The Phoenix Shall Rise Again. Because, well, we have a guest, d2Phoenixfire, and also, talking about ashes, because the Phoenix, and, everyone's so sad that Alpha 1 is done, but we wait for Alpha 2. How are you today, though, sir?
Doing well. How are you all doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Busy couple of weeks. The name is wrong. No, you need a refresh. Oh, that name is wrong. I thought you were talking about the name of the, because I updated the title of the stream in the middle of us being countdown. But yeah, there's that name too, which I totally just saw. Thank you, Z. Good looking out. You mean this isn't Lyat? What? Lies. Who are you? Are you not
What
Lyat?
kind of deception is this?
I'll be whoever. It's fine.
Did we already get a D2 nameplate?
I just sent it to you earlier, yep. Do you need me to
you
send
didn't put it in the folder?
again?
Okay. Yeah, let me download it to the folder here. But take a minute. Go ahead, take the conversation away.
Okay. So, Phoenix, what are you into lately?
Jeez, a little bit of everything. Most recently, been kind of hyped up getting ready for the Diablo 2 Resurrected thing that's going on.
Nice.
Seeing how that'll be. That should be fun. Went through the alpha and the beta and releases next week. 2 weeks maybe.
You like Diablo?
Yeah, that was kind of my first love in video games, and I always go back. I don't know why. It's just where I always end up.
Nice. I actually met somebody at one time who worked on the Diablo series, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
There we are. Your name is correct now. Z, thank you.
Perfect. There it is. Z saves the day.
She does. She does that a lot.
Are you in the official Discord, Phoenix?
The Ashes Discord?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I just don't see you pop up.
I can type something if you're looking for me.
Oh, I just see you. It's VMC. It just didn't pop up. Got it.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. But yeah, so we were talking earlier, and you were interested in making stuff for Ashes of Creation. And what kind of things, because you had mentioned, Alpha 1, a little bit sparse in terms of the server being live and stuff like that. What kind of content would you like to make? What are you interested in doing?
I'm still a little undecided, what I kind of want to do for content, because the guild I'm in is sort of merchant focused, so I'll be doing a lot of crafting. I know that, but we don't have a lot of information on gathering, crafting, processing, so I'm not exactly sure what it's going to look like. So I don't know if it's going to be good stream content, if it's not. So I'm still unsure what streams will look like. I want to check out PvP. I'm not a huge PvPer, but it seems like there's a pretty big focus on PvP, so I should at least be proficient.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major part of the game, but I mean, I'm not super interested in, PvP myself, so I myself would be focused on something else. But are you
gankers need targets to chase? It's okay. It's okay.
That's rude. Are you more interested in live streaming or making videos?
Oh, I only live stream. I've never made a YouTube video before.
I will bring that.
I wouldn't even know how to do it, actually.
Cosplay as a pirate ship. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he wants you to cosplay a pirate ship. And Grumpy's gonna burn that chip. So
Yeah.
wear fire retardant underoos. Just saying.
Underoos. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, what got you interested in Ashes?
Honestly, I just stumbled across some videos on YouTube. I don't even know whose videos they were, and just, that sounds interesting, and looked at a few more. I was like, oh, okay. Upcoming game, looks like a lot of cool content. Maybe I'll keep an eye out. And then a few months later, everything just flipped on its head because Peon did Peon things, and then all of a sudden there were 25 million eyes on the game, and
Right.
all this hype, and I don't know. Everything went wild. So
It's a great way of describing it, by the way. Peon did Peon things.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. No, that was pretty well. My introduction was early-ish last year. I wasn't a Kickstarter person. I wasn't any of that. I didn't even get to see the battle royale at all. I was late to the game.
Hey, that's
Honestly,
all right. That's all right.
Personally, I feel like you didn't miss out much if you missed the battle royale, because I was expecting battle royale to look more like it did at the PAX locations than it did actually look, and I was a little bit upset because I kind of liked the arena feel that the PAX demos had. I enjoyed that there was kind of this enclosed area where you were, fighting one-on-one, and it was very kept and confined to an area, whereas like APOC, granted it's open world, but I thought because it was called an arena that it was going to be like separate from feeling of running around in game fighting. Like that's how APOC felt to me, is like you're running around in game, but then there's also this corruption coming to kill you on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was never really meant to be a fully fleshed out game. It was just used for testing, so it's not a big deal. But it didn't look fantastic, but it wasn't meant to, I guess. So
that's fair.
Yeah, you missed out on
hold it against them.
I think the big thing you missed out on is just collecting some extra cosmetics from earning in the battle royale and the testing area, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Although Z the Destroyer of Hope, she apparently has like 9,432 wins in the battle royale. We asked people for
that doesn't surprise me.
No.
We asked people for screenshots of stuff that they did in the BR, and she just sent I think seriously like 70 images that said first place.
No, it was more than that. I think it was closer to like 120. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, we're like, hey guys, send us screenshots. And she's like, 506. There you go.
506. Meanwhile, here I am coveting my I have I think 2 screenshots of like second place. Yes.
Yeah, I have one time ever that I finished the game because I usually died within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
That
we did
me too.
But it's alright. Yeah. I'm not big on BRs, but I will say I at least enjoyed that more than the random other BRs out there. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was hoping for more than just winning screenshots. Like, I don't know, this area looks kind of cool. Here's a screenshot I took of this area and my character. Like, yeah. Z's like, thunk, here's all my wins.
I mean, with that many,
cool stuff.
She probably covered almost the entire map. We could probably reconstruct, a 3D rendering of the BR arena maps, plural.
Who needs to see pretty flowers when you can see Z just standing on a pile of corpses? Like, I did this. Yes.
Seems like it took ages to send them all. Admire my hard work, dang it.
Admire it. Another piece of art.
Yes.
Made by the blood of other savages.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Or victims of said savages, either way.
Right. Jeez. Poor things. Took them ages to look at. Yeah. Yeah, I think I gave up about like 3 to 5. I was like, okay, these are all just like winning screenshots. Cool. GG, I don't need to do any more work here. I'm done.
I got through about 25, and then I was like, wait, is there anything else? And I started scrolling and just seeing first place. That's a speed scrolling, and it was just, I saw a solid 1 rotating through the screen. Everything else changed, but like the number 1 just sat there as I was scrolling.
It's just like when that one thing, I like Marvel stays unwanted. Like when the word Marvel stays the same, but the background of the word Marvel changes a lot.
Yeah,
so you, But you constantly see the Marvel in general. Yeah. I like it. So we found some interesting things, not really on Reddit, but definitely on the forums. People seem to be chatting a lot more on the forums in depth. I mean, happily, because there's the forums for a reason. But yeah. You know, one thing that kind of peeked out to me was I don't know, just there's a lot of interesting topics. There's something about like there being way too many classes, because I think, to be fair, people, when they hear classes, they think like diverse actual like classes. Like you have your tank class, you have your mage class. This has like 64 classes, but it's really a 64 combination of classes with 8 specific classes, and then 8 more ways to address said class. It doesn't actually change your class completely, it just changes how your primary class acts. So I don't know, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same opinion. People that see 64 and they're so overwhelmed, like, oh, that's crazy, but it's not really that different from a lot of other games.
Yeah.
A lot of them are in the same sort of base class, and they just do slightly different things.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I think, even more simple than multi-classing in D&D is, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, there are minor variations. It's like you find your archetype, you find your class that you want to play, but then you have a bunch of subclasses to choose from. They're going to alter the way you play the character, just not as largely as going from, I don't know, a tank to a ranger or a tank to a healer, like cleric variety of some sort. But to pin another post on the forums to the same topic, there's somebody else saying kind of the opposite. This is from Iron Hope, saying, if 56 classes are just animation skins combined with buffs to the same old stuff, it will be tragic. They want 56 unique classes that offer unique everything to them. Like, they say, you promised a necromancer, give us a necromancer. Promised a Templar, give us a Templar. Not just a summoner with a different skin for his bear and some 10% extra damage here and there. Made a lot of rhymes in this, by the way.
He's a poet and he didn't know it.
Yeah, right? It's a bard in the making, rhyming and not even realizing it.
Right.
But, I mean, my question to answer that is going to be, like, isn't pretty much every minor or major variant on the same base, just a reskin with additional images of something happening with a damage buff here or there? Or a damage nerf here or there? What's the difference between a warrior doing, like, a spin to win and a tank doing an AoE taunt that does less damage? Well, one taunts and does less damage, but the other one does more damage and doesn't taunt. But there's 2 simple switches right there. Like, that's it. That's the only difference.
That's true.
Fair.
Yeah, people just find things to complain about. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I find myself in the middle. Like, yeah, I want there to be, you know, I'm not sure why they said 56. Isn't it 64?
It's 64, yeah.
Yeah, 64 classes. I would like them to be different enough to feel different, but they don't need to be like 64 very unique. Oh my gosh, this is totally different than the other whatever I was playing.
Yeah.
I'm okay with just a little variance. Just make it feel like there's definitely a variance is all I ask.
exactly. There's going to be a lot of similarities between the 8 classes that use whichever archetype, like the tank archetype. All 8 classes that use that are all going to be fairly similar, right? But they're going to be totally different than all the 8 cleric classes, right? So it's I don't know. Once people see it, it'll probably make more sense, I think.
And I mean, honestly, I feel like one person's like, geez, do you really need 64? And the other one's like, are they honestly going to be 64? And the reality is somewhere in the middle. Like, yeah, there's going to be 64 different classes, but it's going to be different enough that it's going to change the gameplay from each other, but not be so different that it's alarmingly different from each other.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's not many games that start with more than 8 classes to begin with, so let's not get too greedy. We got 8 major classes with 8 minor variants.
Right.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
8 skill trees to choose from, one might say.
Yeah, exactly. I have no issue with how they're doing it. I'd just like to see more of it, but we'll get there.
Absolutely. There is time. So, here's something that Chibi found that I thought was neat, because I think it's neat also. The languages thing. Unique AOC languages to generate new content. I think Z is also a big fan of that, because
I
think I've seen her ask like 5 people to find more runes more runes sitting around, so that she can translate more stuff.
Yeah.
What's that up here? There we go.
Oh, I was gonna do that. No.
Beat you to it.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Like I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see. I have this box of dice. Come on. Maybe I have to pull it back here. I don't know. There we go. I have this dice box that has Elven on it. And people always ask me, like, what does that say? And that is an area of intrigue and interest, because you don't know what it means. It's Elven if you've seen Elven before, because you can kind of recognize it. But it's also got like a slight immersive feeling. So if elves actually had like some sort of Elven and things like that incorporated, like the runes, it just adds to not only the excitement of finding something hidden, like when Z saw ashes of creation basically in the runes. Not only does it add like a nice little level of interest, but also a nice little Easter egg.
Yeah, and that's
it'd be pretty neat to have something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not really anything that it's not big for me. Like, I'm kind of more gameplay focused or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, see, but that's the cool thing. Like,
neat.
Yeah. But see, that's the neat thing is, are you much one for exploring?
Sometimes. If I am sitting there trying to figure out what to do for 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna hop on my mount and go do whatever. Like, oh, do I want to do some questing or gathering or do a dungeon? I can't decide. Maybe I'll just wander around for 10 minutes until I figure it out.
Right, so here you go then.
See what hits.
So here's a way to tie 2 different content or 2 different ideas together, because they're talking about a unique language to Ashes of Creation that you would need to find things to be able to understand the language to then unlock content. Like, in order to understand some maps you might find, you would need to find certain clues to decipher part of the language to be able to read that region's maps. So you can't really see what the names of any place are, or you won't be able to see, like if you have a treasure map that says, hey, you got to go to this temple, that is located over here, there, and it has directions on how to get there to find whatever the store of knowledge they have in a vault somewhere. So you'd have to understand the language to be able to read that, to figure out where to go to do whatever.
Mage has a toolkit to detect languages. What?
Yeah, right? Which then
so cool.
also ties into this other cool thing, which before that, like Z says, but it says intrepid, and that's cool. Not nerdy, I swear.
It's totally nerdy.
She's
but
talking
that's
about
okay.
the
It's cool
runes that
because
she
it's nerdy.
deciphered. Yeah.
Yeah. But what do you think about that, though? Like being able to use some sort of language tool system to unlock more content, like maybe a hidden quest that you have to decipher and find a hidden NPC.
So again, I think it's cool. That sounds like a lot. Like each region has different ones. That sounds like a lot. Like you'd have to do full quest lines in each region.
I don't think you'd have to like have all of the text to be in a different language. I think maybe just the starter text could be in a different language and like, hey, I speak common. I don't know.
It could honestly all be like the 4 base races. It could just be like 4 regions, or even beyond that, it could just be bonus content. Like you don't need it to finish through the story, but to understand more of what happened before you return to the planet.
That makes a good question. Is there gonna be storyline content?
Oh yeah,
there is.
There's gonna be.
I don't think there's a main story quest in this game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not right now. There isn't, but there's going to be. So there's
there's
gonna be a main quest line, and then there's gonna be little offshoots that are gonna depend a lot more on, what race you are, what race the node is, what race this is, how developed certain nodes get, what dungeons unlock.
Okay. With how open everything was, I just figured they weren't even gonna bother. Be like, oh, here's kind of a suggested line of questing, but do your own thing, kind of.
I think that's just more so because they're currently like, okay, can the world handle this many players at once? Yes or no? Okay, cool. What happens if I throw 5,000 bears in one general location?
Yeah. All of the bears.
All of the bears.
But I think it's gonna be neat just seeing how they implement the regular story, because they could even just force things to happen in nodes that aren't developed. If that's the case, just to make sure that the main story stuff does happen. Instead of needing a node to be at a certain point, they just make something happen on a node, whether it's evolved or not. And this is just something like a permanent fixture in the area.
Yeah, they'd have to do something like that. Yeah.
Which would be interesting if all of these nodes have a chance to have a metropolis grow on it. They would have to, at some point, I guess, make sure they save space where the metropolis is not going to be when it's fully exploded, to have other things pop up, like main story-based dungeons and raids that are going to be open world. So it can't just be like a door in a mountain. It has to be legitimately a dungeon or raid. Just space saved for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just out towards the edge of the node somewhere where there won't be buildings and housing and whatever.
But that leading into, with all the exploration talk there with different languages and whatnot, this person named Ironhope dropped a post in the forums talking about open world goodies to keep players constantly having fun exploring the world for profit. And it is, by the way, the same person that made the post about the 56 different classes and them needing to be different. This one I'm actually fully on board with, because they're talking about some things that came from some other games, but how well it would fit here. Like, there's I guess a game that's terrible except for one thing. It was called Metin 2. And there's like meteors that would drop randomly. You could explore around everywhere and find these meteor shards. And in the case of Ashes, it could be random boxes of things that were left behind, maybe. Or that new explorers, when they're packing up to move across the world from the entry point, they just drop things along the way and you can find them if you're exploring around and about. And the little crystal lizards from Dark Souls, and mimic chests just hanging around out in the world. Give people reason to go explore because that's the only way they're going to find that stuff.
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff. I never played Dark Souls, so I didn't get that one. Or obviously the game that nobody's ever heard of. I've never played that one either. So I didn't quite get those references, but it seems good.
We're talking.
I like the idea of it.
Yeah, we were talking before stream about the mimic, and
Yes.
you remembering it from like RuneScape, I think.
Yeah, old school RuneScape.
Old school RuneScape, and I was talking about it from like D&D stuff like that. It's kind of interesting how, as we found out, like D&D is from like 1970 something, and how it's influenced games, and like something as simple as a mimic has gone from D&D to like MMORPGs.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, but
Keeps getting reused.
these, like the light up lizard looks really cool to me, honestly. I thought that was kind of unique.
Honestly, how much more exploring do you think people would do if, say, all of these things had zero impact on like gameplay equipment or anything, but they all made unique cosmetics? And these were in-game earnable cosmetics by somebody exploring to get these materials, selling them to a crafter or crafting them themselves into armor and weapon cosmetic items. That the only way to get it is by going through and exploring these areas. Maybe there's a very slow spawn on some of this stuff in different areas, and it'd be neat if they made a way to like heat map track. That way the more people that come, the slower it spawns or something.
Yeah, definitely.
That way when there's only like 1 or 2 people passing by, it's gonna spawn really quickly. But then it kind of like strip mines it, like the more people that swing by, the less often it's gonna spawn. So
I feel like that might get a little irritating.
Well, maybe, but it would cause people to want to explore the new areas a lot more. So then they explore the new area, and then they stop coming around as often, and then things start appearing again. So it keeps people going back after a while.
I was just thinking of the like from a perspective of the person that found it initially and was going there like, oh, this is where I can mine this thing, and then because other people found it, it's no longer there, and now they have to try to find somewhere else to go mine it. It's just like, how frustrating would that be, perspective-wise? But I guess it would force you to go, like, check out the
explore
environment.
Further.
So, yeah, explore further.
It would also keep it worth a lot of money too.
Yeah.
Exploring would be very profitable if you explore new areas or places that don't have many people going to, and you can pick up these unique items.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that kind of play out. Get cosmetics, maybe crafting materials, pets or minions, whatever they're called in this game. Stuff like
That's really like the idea of the mimics too, because it could totally be like corrupted something or other. Like, even if there are like the crystal lizards they're talking about, if one of those were to become corrupted and suddenly instead of running away and trying to hide, it turns around and tries to eat you.
That'd be funny.
Just every once in a while, there's a corrupted little treasure thing that turns into a will eat your face monster.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, definitely.
I like it.
Like it. There's I don't know. There's a lot that is in development that I'm interested in seeing where it goes, you know?
Yeah. Every month when the update comes out, I'm like, please, like, I have this list of things that I'm waiting to hear about.
Yeah.
Let me have one.
Honestly, I think that's the hardest part of the monthly update is like going in, hoping to hear about things and then like getting slightly like less hype about it afterwards because you didn't hear about anything that you were hoping to hear about, and like it's kind of ended up being the same thing you've been hearing for a while. Just a recap of like, just to reiterate, it's the same thing we kind of already said before. And you're just like,
no.
oh.
NOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO is amazing. Don't shake your head.
There's this conversation online about like giving government node power, which honestly I kind of enjoyed the reading through this because there was some pros and some cons, and people like were saying like why they didn't like the system and stuff like that. And I was talking with Phoenix about like I really enjoy those kind of things, like when it's an active actual conversation, like, oh well, I didn't really agree with this because of this, that, and the other. And then the OP kind of came back with like, well, what specifically do you feel is like negative about this? And they have like an actual discussion. I really appreciate that stuff because a lot of the time from what I can like really relate on is like, oh yeah, I agree, or oh yeah, I disagree kind of thing. And nobody really goes into those full in-depth topics, or at least not on Reddit. But
It's true.
seeing like this nice contribution back and forth of like, so here's my idea, and then somebody being like, so here's why I don't like that idea, but also other things. So
Agreed. It's always interesting to see someone put out this huge, well thought out page full of ideas and information, and then the first response you see with like 10,000 upvotes is, no, that's stupid.
yeah.
And that's
And that's
their
it.
entire contribution to the conversation. So,
Yeah.
good job.
But in this case, it was Meow.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that.
Maouw. Meow.
Meow.
They were basically giving ideas like power to gatekeep their points of interest, and like what that means for different people. Like for the node citizens, it would mean this. For the guilds, it could mean that. And then my favorite was like all caps, but here's where it gets interesting. And then they go into like a little bit more detail. And then as Azure responds with like, here's my problems with it. Like the gameplay requirements break immersion, so like the guard strength, and then like the gameplay elements incentivizes geographic focus of non-linear rewarding but negative behavior, and like just going in depth with like why he ultimately disagreed with these things, and then like ultimately was like, I'm just not really interested in this idea. And I just found that kind of cool that there's, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to read
I kind of like the idea. I mean, it would end up, I guess, depending on a lot of testing.
Yeah.
But I would definitely, I like the concept.
Well, I can see where Azure was coming from in terms of like it gave power to the more powerful guilds instead of keeping it equal power.
Everything worthwhile is going to give more power to powerful guilds. It's inescapable, and that argument, it always makes me roll my eyes in my head. I listen to all of them because, I mean, no idea is necessarily a bad idea. It's all going to have input, but when you really think about it, powerful guilds are going to support being powerful guilds. Like, if a guild's going to jump into a game with a lot of people and be really good at stuff, of course they're going to become more powerful. It's just a thing that's going to happen.
Unfortunately true.
Yeah, if you're a casual player and you don't want to be in a mega guild that's like super focused on stuff, you just have to accept that they're going to get more than you. And
make friends
they're
with
also going to be but I mean, they're also going to be living a playstyle that you won't enjoy, so why be jealous of that? They're living a life you won't enjoy to get things that you would covet but can't really obtain because you don't have that much drive to focus on that thing that they're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to have everything in the game. I've accepted it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the idea of certain elements of this. Like the first one that I read, I was instantly like, I was the person just saying, no, that's stupid. Like gatekeeping dungeons, like I don't want to have to pay a fee or be turned away from doing content because somebody else owns it. Like that just feels bad, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
I really like that dungeon. Now I can't do it anymore because this guild said I'm not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that, I'll be honest, I didn't read that as part of the original idea. Maybe that was something somebody else put in, unless I just, for some reason, my brain's skipping over that.
I think it's like the first line or second line. Here it is. Yeah, I propose giving governments the power to gatekeep their points of interest, i.e., dungeons, etc. Like, no.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that is kind of a basis there. But
and that's kind of where I was. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's also where they went back and they made some corrections, which kind of changed that at least a little bit. Instead of, for instance, like their second bullet point, it was saying hands out passes or licenses to players that grant them permission to pass. They changed that to benefits, to get additional benefits at the POI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that does kind of fix it a bit.
But the other thing is the proposing governments to the power to gatekeep their points of interest is kind of what I was meaning when it was tying into like keeping the powerful guilds in power instead of allowing the under guilds to be able to fight that power and possibly gain the power. It kind of feels like that's insurpassable now as a weaker guild or something.
Well, in theory, that's also just what's going to happen with the Metropolis in general. Like, if you think that a powerful guild is going to dominate a node, then that's going to be the case whether they have guards that collect taxes from people accessing a dungeon or not.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that being said, like, the actual gatekeeping, allowing people in or not, is totally not in my area of interest whatsoever.
No.
But being able to be like, yeah, I'll give the guards some money if they give me a buff to go in here, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
That could work, but I don't know. There's so many ideas floating around to implement them all and balance them all. It's like, I want to play this game sometime in the next 20 years. Like, we got to slow down at some point.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, like, everything they already have on their plate is going to be bananas as far as how many options you have. Just the fact that there is a tax system where you have a bunch of levers to push and pull and get more money out of this and spend it on that, and yeah, even that alone is going to be very, very complicated to put into the game properly, make it not break things. So
yeah, I agree.
That'll be fun to watch that play out.
Yeah. I think in general, seeing just how this all develops, because the reality is Ashes of Creation is going to be one giant social experiment because we're running the game essentially. Like, how, without any parameters except for the people to rule themselves, would this work out? And each server is going to be different, which I think is super amazing. And I think seeing the diversity between the servers is just something that, I don't know, like, you just won't get that from any other game. And I think that's what Ashes really brings to the table, is this uniqueness of not being controlled by the game, but controlling the game by yourself and your actions and your fellow people's actions. It's just, I think that will be one, if not the only, one of the most unique things that Ashes brings to the table as an MMORPG, is like, you control the world does not control you.
Yeah, that'll be really fun and interesting. I just hope that there's ways to sort of contain and deal with all the griefers, because I mean, we know they're out there in their millions.
I'm glad you said something about that, because somebody was talking about incentives for going red and for being corrupted, essentially. By going red, I mean becoming a criminal, getting corruption. They say, I would very much like to be a bounty hunter. However, I don't currently see why anyone would want to go red in the first place unless I'm missing something or the design changes. I believe everyone will be a bounty hunter, as reds will be so few and everyone will just gang up on them. Are there any plans to make it worthwhile for people to be bad? but not to the point of it becoming a grief fest. If it goes too far either way, either the bounty hunters or the reds will just be ganged on all the time. I hope I'm wrong, but this is part of the game that doesn't seem fully fleshed out to me. The idea is, if going red is a form of punishment, then I don't really see bounty hunting as a serious feature or a game patch appropriate approach. Sorry, gameplay approach. Goodness. Not very good at reading, apparently.
Wording is difficult.
Wording is very difficult. But essentially, they're like, why go red if there's no real incentive? Why would people choose specifically to go red enough for there to be bounty hunters?
So the simplest answer to that, in unfortunate truth, is to ruin somebody else's day.
Yeah. I mean, the first response was the only incentive people need is the opportunity to steal something from a player.
Yeah. that's it.
Yeah.
Like people
or
know.
just... Oh, go ahead. No, after you.
Oh, I was just gonna say people know they're going to lose, like they're gonna get that kill. And that's their day made right there, that they got to ruin somebody else's day. So the fact that 5 bounty hunters show up from the woodwork and take them out right away, they don't care. They're happy. They got what they wanted.
Yeah, there's also the thrill of, imagine wanting to feel like one of the most, strong people going red and having 5 bounty hunters go after you. If you're able to defeat them, what better show of strength is there at that point? You kind of get that rush of look how strong I am. All these people are trying to kill me and I'm still defeating them. I think that's what a lot of PvPers get out of it, right? Is enjoying PvP because of how strong they feel as a PvPer.
Well, I feel like a true PvPer, if Z's still around, she can confirm or deny, would be more likely to run around, what is it? Is it purple? Combatant?
For being flagged.
Yeah. That would be more their style than just going red and ganking people.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no real, I guess, challenge in ganking some miner and then hoping to get out alive. But if you're out there trying to be the best, you'd just flag up and say, "Come at me."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but at that point you don't drop gatherables, do you? If you both flag up? It was only if you didn't, or maybe you just drop less. Was that it? I don't like PvP so much that I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, if you're flagged as a combatant when you enter combat, you drop less gatherables and you lose less experience.
Okay, got it.
So there is still the loss, it's just less.
And also, I guess
less.
you don't turn red because you killed somebody else. You're both consenting to PvP at that point. 25%.
Both consenting adults trying to die. It's fine.
I consent to you trying to kill me and me trying to kill you. Do you consent? Okay, let's PvP.
Yeah. And then if you go corrupted, then you drop even more and you lose even more experience when you die.
Yeah. Ashes and Nurses, it's a little funny how different people think the corruption system will pan out. Some are afraid there'll be PKs everywhere, and others think they'll just almost see none. And then Grumpy says, "I will harvest mats from players, though. It's business.
It's business, not personal.
Most of the time."
And see, there's that too. There's definitely that aspect. There's also whenever somebody wrongs a guild, especially these scary, big, powerful guilds you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna have KOS list. Kill on
Talk smack
sight
to the wrong
person.
guild mate, and you just you have an out for you. Kill on sight.
There's going to be actual bounty hunters where they're going out to get gold from players who say, if you send me a screenshot of this person dead and whatnot, I'll give you money. Send me a screenshot of you standing on this person's corpse and type a specific statement out and take a screenshot of that.
Yeah, and a lot of those bounties are going to be for streamers and content creators.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you kill whoever. Like,
Shroud.
there's a huge bonus in it for you.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. I was just
probably,
thinking of
probably.
a big streamer who would be like a glory hunt. Probably somebody like Shroud or like Asmongold or something like, you ganked him.
Yeah. For
I
the
just
same
don't
poor
care.
people that get a target on their back every game they play.
Yeah.
Where PvP's allowed.
Healers.
But yeah, like was said, it's kind of interesting how far it swings on how many PKs people think are gonna exist.
Yeah.
And I just gotta say, like, looking back at one of the original games I played, which was a full loot drop game, and for the first year or two of its life, there was no way to prevent that. Just if you died, everything you had dropped to the ground. The only thing that would prevent somebody from picking it all up is if they didn't have the bag space, and that was it. And there were still player killers, like, running around, like, ganking people constantly, but then they would get 17 people after them then they would die, and then all their stuff that they just robbed plus their own gear is gone.
Last man standing wins.
You better not. I'm just saying that. Sorry, I was waiting for that and so I can say Ashes says Nair says he's gonna make an alt account called Chibi alt and piss off all of the biggest PvP guilds.
Oh yeah, I see that happening. Like somebody in like all caps, Chibi Bree, but the last E is a 3.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Then have her pay you for protection. Oh, that's rude. That is so rude.
Ooh.
GG table flip / quit.
Done. Out.
Sounds like an entrepreneur in the making to me.
Right. Hey, I'll get this Chibi Bree alt person to stop pretending to be you if you pay me some gold.
Yeah. Well,
you see, what AKA you do to make money is you come up with a solution, right? And then you cause the problem. There you go.
Oh my god.
Who was it in chat that's offering protection? I need to hire them. I plan on running a lot of caravans.
Fake protection, Ashes of Nair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well. Offer me protection for causing me to be the target.
Yeah.
Although Grumpy Guy said he's going to be farming materials from other people, so you could probably pay for protection and be like, all you got to do is not kill me and I'll give you some of the stuff I pick up. Then you won't have to go through the effort of killing me. But you could kill everybody else we bump into, because then you can get them out of the way, grab their mats, and then still get more from me in the end. It's a win-win-win-win.
You don't see me doing that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I still want to see how caravans play out, because that's probably where most of my PvP type endeavors will happen.
Yeah.
Defending caravans.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun, because apparently, like, they've got to have a way to encourage people to go red. Like, some people are worried, like, you can't be a bounty hunter if nobody goes red and you can't hunt them, but they're going to put some way in to encourage it a little bit, just a little bit, because they're talking about encouraging fights at caravans by giving you rewards and like quest progress in certain things by attacking caravans.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Do you see that emote, by the way?
That's a very crazy sim.
Well, I also like the name of it. Submerged Loot Ninja.
Oh, no.
It's fantastic. I love it.
Oh, man.
I still love how Sim, the, crusader of justice and virtue, stated that one of the things he's going to be testing out and going full tilt on during the alphas and maybe even betas is being an absolute murder crazy PK running person. He was, I'm going to get all that evil stuff out of my system in the betas when it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah, right?
That's awesome. So there is a conversation on the forums about having voice acting for the quest, which I believe Intrepid has already said something along the lines of they're not going to, at least initially, because of how expensive it is. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, I know it's a lot more immersive having the voice act quest, having your character. I don't know. It's like dependent. Like if everything is quiet and you're reading everything, it kind of allows the streamer to kind of voice act for the quest or whatever. But there's also some games where like the other main characters are voice lined, but you aren't. So you have like the silent hero type, and something else is usually speaking for you, which is usually annoying for me because I'm like, why can't I choose what my character's saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Oh, Caravan should be normal play. Yeah.
I would say, I'm trying to think of other games. I like the way Final Fantasy XIV does it, where only kind of the main quests are voice acted and the rest are just kind of click through, read whatever.
Yeah.
It sort of, oh, there's voice acting in this one, like listen up, we're going on a real mission here, like this is a big quest.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. But in that one, yeah, it's like you said, your character is not voice acted ever. It just hand gestures all over the place, and yeah.
That's not like chicken, that grumpy guy. Sorry.
Chicken is delicious. Aliens are not chicken.
Good. No, they're not.
Aliens are the one thing that probably doesn't taste like chicken.
Do you like
brain slugs?
Do you I can't. Go for it.
Jello? Yeah, they could taste like Jello. There you go. They taste like Jello. But yeah, I really like when they do cinematics with some of the main story quest stuff in games. And cinematics just aren't cinematic without some kind of voice line. Now, I'm not saying Ashes is trying to do cinematics, but what I'm saying is I would really love it if they did, which would require voice acting. So I'm on the boat of I would love there to be some voice acting, at least at key, like high energy, high focus required, high storytelling parts. Like even if they went so far as to put voice acting in all of the main story quests and not have cinematic, that'd be pretty cool too. But I think it'd probably be more cost effective for them to just do some cinematics and voice and not do voice elsewhere, which would still be pretty cool. But that being said, the issue of cost does arise, especially if they, I don't know, hire somebody in the first year to do voice acting, and it turns out that Ashes is stupendously successful, and then they renegotiate their contract, and they're like, since Ashes is so much more successful, I think I deserve 10 times the pay, because it's 10 times more successful than it was last year. Yeah. And next thing you know, it balloons out of control because they're the voice of the main actor. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen that way, but it's something you got to consider, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's true.
Yeah, I've played some games that have zero voice acting, and I had a good time, so I'm not against it. What I would like, if they did do voice acting at some point, is if they could just wait about a year to year and a half, long enough for me to get a lot of play out of my main, and then get the voice acting in the game, so that when I start an alt, I'll have a whole new experience. Or when I want to see all the voice acting, I'll be able to start an alt, and it'll actually make sense to start an alt, so I can experience all that again.
Yeah. Not to necessarily change the subject, but they just released yesterday a new dev discussions. And it's on character creation.
Ooh. And real quick, just to do a last response to Ashes of Nera. In a perfect world, sure, voice acting would be awesome. On the flip side, voice acting has to be really good or it detracts from the game. Bad VA annoys me. Case in point, Elion. Just gonna drop that there and walk away. Yes, character creation.
Okay, just dropping the mic over there. Got it. Yes. So, how much time do you usually spend on character creation? And what are the tools you like to have available to you when building your character? Do you focus on race and class synergy, looking good, or something else entirely?
Oh, I don't even I'm trying to think.
I kind of like, for me, I'm just like, does this look the way that I envisioned them to look? Yeah, cool. There we go. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I would say for me, anyway, like it depends. Like, I usually have one class or race that I'm like, I want to play a character that includes that. Oh my gosh. And then I just plan out like the best character around that. And after that, that usually ends up being like my main, like that's the character that I love and well, I want to do that. That's fantastic. And then everything else after that, I start to look at a lot of cosmetic stuff. How does the class fit with the race, and or looking at like fine tuning the min-maxing. What's the class benefit? What's the race benefit? So I start with the grand scheme of creating the perfect character all around. And then I devolve with the alts.
Yeah. By the way, hi Wizzy. Welcome in. Just saying.
Sorry there, Phoenix, you were saying?
I probably focus most on just looking cool.
Yeah.
I'm
mean,
making a new character.
Is there gonna be racial traits that are gonna affect your class?
I think they're gonna be non-combat traits.
Yeah,
so it shouldn't really impact your class.
So like when it comes to race class synergy, that's almost not important then. In
I believe
Ashes.
so. I believe that's what they're aiming for in the end.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be racial augments so you can look like visually. I think I think Ashes of Nerd just said something like there might be some visual augments for races, but not like 1% crit bonus or something like that.
Yeah.
Your race will also affect the way that nodes look as they progress, right?
I get that part, yeah, but it was just more like in the character creation specific part of it. I'm like, when they bring up the race and class synergy, I was like, but if I'm thinking of Ashes of Creation specifically, I don't think that that's going to be a factor. So, like, why would I factor that in for if I were to make a character in Ashes? But we're doing well, thank you, Ozzy. So, Ashes Nerd says, question for the panel.
Everyone.
Ashes Nerd says, question for the panel. Would you pick a race that is quote unquote bad for the class in order to look how you want? And I mean, again, if there's no real consequence of one race or another for your class, then sure, I guess I'd pick the race that I'd want to look as for the class that I want to. I'd say that's one thing that in D&D world, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything kind of got rid of, was that you don't have to worry about a specific races, subclasses or sub-abilities that affect your class in general. You can be any race doing whatever class you want to do. And I feel like Ashes is taking a similar approach.
I mean, I'm just saying, technically, in World of Warcraft, I don't think it's the same way anymore, but at one point, jewelers and jewel crafters gave you the absolute best bonuses in combat. The absolute best, hands down. So technically, if you are not a Draenei that would get your bonus for jewel crafting, then you are not running with the most efficient setup for any class at all. Any class.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think everybody's done that. But yeah, I have totally. Like again, I have an image in my mind of what kind of character I want to do for the first one, my main, so to say. Like this is the character that's going to represent me in the games, whatever. That one I always do strictly by whatever I have in my mind as canon for what character I would love to be in this world. And then outside of that, I just kind of fly off the handle. I'll pick something that looks absolutely amazing but performs like garbage. Or performs amazing but looks like garbage. I'll do a little bit of both depending on what character I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm much more just, I don't care about meta. I just do what I want. Like, sticking with the WoW stuff, a little more recent, the newest expansion, I picked the worst covenant for my character statistically, but I was like, oh, but I like that one.
Yeah.
So I just took it anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
I heard that all covenants are the devil.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's
That's
why
what I
I only
heard.
played this expansion for like a month and then gave up. But
Yeah.
during that month, I picked the worst possible covenant for my class.
Honestly,
Just because it was cool.
Yeah. And honestly, there's been times when in World of Warcraft I've min-maxed, but how much more was I honestly getting out of the racial bonuses than without them? And I was like, but is it worth like playing a character that you don't really want to play because of this whatever? Like if I wanted to be a dwarf Death Knight, then why not be a dwarf Death Knight? You know?
Trying to picture that in my head.
That was my first World of Warcraft character. And it's only because somebody offered to pay my dad 1,000 gold if they could have a dwarf Death Knight to fight for an achievement. So that was my character. I made a dwarf Death Knight, and I went out to a certain area and just let somebody kill me over and over for an achievement. That was my introduction to WoW.
That's all I think to know.
Yeah, I will say that there's one situation where I will always pick a meta. Every single time. And that's when I'm in a guild or in a group that goes out and raids a lot, or does dungeons a lot or whatever, and there's a specific need that we're missing just as a group. There's a specific role or a specific something that we're missing, and as long as I can be the one to take that place, like, because usually I play like a tank or a healer, some like vital class that nobody else wants to play. But if I'm in a group where somebody else can be a tank, they just really can't do that other thing too, I'll swap out with them and I'll go do that new role. If it's something I'm not perfectly comfortable in, I'm going to min-max everything because I'm not really great with it. We just need it. So I'm going to do the best I can to do the absolute top performance I can. That's how I started the healing.
That's fair. Ashes of Nair says, from the wiki, each race has a different base stat, so there will be some differences and probably a meta. Also, racial augments are based on character's race and are available to each class. These apply to abilities on a character's primary archetype. They affect how the ability works and can also apply cosmetic effects. So class is more than just cosmetic, it seems like. Interesting. Interesting.
Okay. Race.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Race is more than just...
We have no class around here.
I actually thought that the racial... I honestly thought that the racial substats were going to be more towards, like, in-game things, such as who's more likely to be able to talk to somebody in terms of, like, diplomacy or, like, gaining knowledge, because some of the things that they listed were like, oh, this sub-race is more interested in, like, military aspects, and this one's more knowledgeable. And so, like, to me, that gave me more of a feeling of, like, in-game in that aspect is how it was going to be adjusted kind of thing.
Yeah, and honestly, like, whatever way they end up really doing it in the end, I think that every race should have a little bit of a difference. I mean, do you really expect the was it the Kaivek? Or the...
Renkai?
Yeah, Renkai. Sorry, I always get mixed up between all that. But yeah, the Renkai.
You just...
Yeah, I went back to the original race name. Yeah, so yeah, the Renkai, like, they're built around fighting. They're built around being monsters, and, like, they probably do push-ups for breakfast, and then they eat a cow to complement breakfast. Like, they're monsters in physical format. Are they really going to have the same, like, damage output with a hammer as, I don't know, a dwarf who's chilling on a beach building huts out of twigs? Probably not.
No,
probably not.
Use those little dwarves for soccer balls.
Yeah, people aren't playing. Yeah, in the end, though, if people aren't playing dwarf, they're doing it wrong.
Yes, yes. dwarves are just orc soccer balls.
Oh man.
Just throwing it out there.
I think you have a point, sir. I think you have a point. But then again, I'm going to be playing Vex, so, I mean, I'm not going to be a monster race either.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm going. Although,
see, like, that's a perfect example. I'm going to be playing a Vec, one of the smaller races, right? And I'm going to be playing a tank. There's no way the smallest race is going to be as brutish and, like, as full of hit points as their big brothers in the same parent race. There's no way. No way can they take as much damage. But, whatever. I would be a tank. Vec.
yeah.
I don't care what the stats are. That's what I'm doing. It's my main.
Yeah, I know there was some pressure from my guild. They wanted everyone, or most people at least, to be human, just so the node would take on that sort of aesthetic. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Interesting.
Oops, I misclicked on orc.
Ah, darn. I already
Yeah,
started
well,
leveling as an
shit.
orc.
Yeah, didn't realize it till level 10. I guess
Yep.
I'm too far in to restart. Whoops.
Whoops.
Guess you're gonna have to deal with me being an orc now.
Yeah. Well, whatever. If there's 80 humans and 2 or 3 non-humans, I think we got it covered.
Oh, you said we have to be humans. I thought you said we can't be humans. My
Yes.
gosh.
Oh man, huge misunderstanding. My bad.
Yeah. Does
Yeah.
anyone know the actual ratio for affecting?
Just primary.
Majority.
That's all I know. Yeah.
So just 50%.
It could probably end up
Probably,
being
like,
that.
Majority, I guess. It doesn't have to be
51%.
50.
Yeah, like 50.5%.
Yeah, something like that. Something enough to be more than half.
Could you imagine if there was enough racial balance in an area where it was like 2 different races were bouncing back and forth at that like 51% line? And like every time something happened, it would like shift over to a different architecture, just
That's
back and
funny.
forth.
I could see that. I wanted to bring up, I have another thing listed under news. It was mainly just even acknowledging the layoffs that happened with a couple of the companies, including Crowfall. I don't really know too much about that anyway, but I thought more importantly is Jalan, aka Paradox Gaming Network, put out a album of not royalty free, but like copyright free and DMCA free usable kind of tavern background music, which I kind of wanted to find something that was like very community focused to talk about next. And I thought that was a really, really amazing one because this kind person has spent money to make DMC free music for people like us to use. And in fact, I believe next week we're going to start switching over to that music as our background and stuff like that. So pretty excited. Greatest tavern song ever.
It's Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Greatest tavern song ever.
Oh my god. Why? I kind of realized I probably only have one character and I'm torn between Dunir and Tolnar. Both characters have amazing backstories and already written feels bad. Yeah. Honestly, I've come to the decision that, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm just ignoring that. I've come to the conclusion that I think I want to try out Dunir. Yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
Somebody else take over first.
You can do it. You can
Nope.
do it. I'm having fun watching you struggle.
Nope.
But yeah, so make one of each, and after you've played each one, just bounce back and forth, and whichever one feels better, just run with that one long term. There you go. Wizzy, your problem is solved.
Yeah.
Just do it all.
I mean, I was gonna say one of the options was Oracle for a cleric something, and honestly, that helped me figure out what I wanted to play because there's lore that fits more with Oracle. Well, you know what, Grumpy? It's okay because you know it is how it came across.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had 8 character slots in A1, so 1 for each archetype, right? Just try them, see which one you like.
Yep, that's probably gonna end up being me. I'm gonna have my Vec tank, and I know I'm going to have a cleric, and I know I'm going to have everything else.
I think
So,
honestly,
there's that.
as soon as we have the primaries fleshed out, I'm gonna have I have an idea of what I already want to play generally, but as soon as the secondary archetypes come out with the primaries fleshed out, I'm gonna have every one of those archetypes a different character, so I can test out how I feel about like the archetype mixture and which one I like the most. It's gonna
Yeah. I'm not sure how many characters I'm thinking of making, but it's 3 max. Like, I don't have a lot of time, so
yeah.
I'm not just gonna spread it out between like 10, 12 characters or anything.
That was mainly just for like alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, and kind of get together how I feel, how I like what I feel, and then kind of maybe at most have 3 different ones that I'm not sure. Maybe I bounce between them because of the different patches that come out. One might change how it feels later in the game versus initially.
Yeah.
I'll have a Kalar and a Kalar and then a Kalar alt.
Yeah, like I know.
Sounds
Like I said, Vec tank.
Right.
I'm gonna have a cleric of some variety or some flavor. And I'm gonna have a bard of some flavor. There's going to be one of the tunes is going to be a gatherer. One of the tunes is going to be a crafter, and everything else it depends on how everything plays out and what I see for classes. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows?
I don't
No.
think
But,
Ranger is going to be in my top 5, but might change.
Yeah,
When
you
the
never
game
know.
goes live, do you guys plan on having, like, when you have multiple characters, do you plan on having them all on the same server, or jumping them around so that you can experience a different, like, world?
I might jump around a little, but it really depends because so here's my thought process on that. Having them all on the same server means that I can change gold between them, etc., and like can collect, like use one as my market, use another as my whatever. But having them on different ones gives me the ability to play with other friends who are not on mine, but are established on another thing, and kind of makes it interesting that way. So like there's not any like obvious cross realm integration where like somebody from, I forgot the names of the realms already, but like somebody from realm 1 can't communicate with realm 2 people outside of the game,
Oh,
you know. So that would kind of make me be like, is there really a reason for me to have alts on a different server? If not, then I'm probably going to have my alts on the same server. Kind of like what Grumpy was just talking about.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. Hey, Riddling Prime. Been a
Hello,
while.
welcome in. Yeah. Happy to see your name.
But yeah, I will definitely have my main on a server. I'm going to have, if need be, another character that's going to fit the needs of the guild.
Mm-hmm.
To whatever they need, like you were saying, like specific race or what have you, to help progress the guild's goals. If it's the same one, awesome. If not, then meh, it's whatever. But
Sounds like we should be camping people.
aside from that, I'm probably gonna have all my alts on the same server unless somebody convinces me otherwise. Because I've done the whole like make a character on another friend's server, and they'll you come play with us, whatever, you know, we'll have a great time, and then a month, 2 months, 3, even 6 months later, it just disappears, and I've just wasted all that time on that character unless I want to pay $100 to move it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anybody else on the server. I went there specifically for them. So they'll have to prove to me that it's worth the time by I'm only going to play that character when I play with them, and that's it. I'm not going to go on there in my spare time.
Like playing on a different server is like wanting to play the game, but like playing the game in incognito mode where like your guild mates don't know you're on. So you're just hanging out on a different character on a different server, just enjoying ashes, but quietly.
For me, it'd be interesting to explore a different server because it's going to progress differently and have different content available, and you know, it's just going to look and feel different based on what server you're on. kind of cool to check it out. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I
But
can't
yeah,
stop
yeah.
yelling.
I think looking at it from my side on a realistic point of view from what I would actually do, I mean, it sounds great to explore like that. Like, to be honest, that does definitely pique my interest to do that. But I'll be honest with myself, I probably wouldn't have the time to do that. Just between, I mean, I just don't have the time right now to do a whole lot of stuff. But if I were to add a whole lot more video game playing, because I would when Ashes goes out live, I'm going to have a whole lot more video game time, and I won't really have the time to also have another alt on a different server progressing just to experience it. I would probably spend more time watching YouTube videos as I'm like hanging out like on my lunch break or whatever. I'd probably watch a lot more YouTube videos on what's going on the other servers and experience it that way.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Ashes.
Undecided. We'll see. It's still a long ways off, so we don't need to make decisions just yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ashes of an Error says, if nothing else, looking at other servers gives me an idea on which nodes need raising on my server.
Yeah.
Burn that one to the ground. Raise this one over there.
I'm starting to like you more.
Yeah. I just want to be friends with the people in the strong military nodes.
There you go.
Just don't kill me.
I just want to be a bounty hunter. Because I can totally dig
no
PvP
interest
when I'm
there.
prepared for it. And if I'm getting into bounty hunter mode and running out to do bounty hunter stuff, I will obviously be ready for it.
Yeah.
The bounty hunter thing doesn't really interest me. I don't want to chase people around and they might just... If I happen to see someone run past me that's red and like Half-Life, I'll probably take a shot at them, but
There you go.
that's about it.
If I think I have a chance, I might. But if I don't think I have a chance, which is usually, I will just try to skirt by unnoticed.
Thank you for leaving me alone. Okay, bye.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. Thank you. You didn't kill me. Cool.
Yeah. If I stand still, they can't see me.
Right. Just
It's
treat.
true. They see by motion. You know move, they know see.
Right.
Yep. Oh,
I'd
jeez.
probably abuse polymorph just for that. If I polymorph, will they kill me? Depends on how bad your polymorph is.
Yeah. If you end up with a campfire in the middle of the street, yeah, you're gonna die.
Sus. You're a sus fire. But
That's good.
yeah. Honestly, the only other thing I really saw of note was the fan art that they shared this Friday. This is like chibi holding a phoenix. It was really cute.
And poor Phoenix.
Yeah.
And so we end as we began with the Phoenix shall rise again.
Yes.
Actually, let me go ahead and get that pulled up. For those of you who didn't see it, which should be nobody, everybody should have seen this.
Well, as he's getting that pulled up, we usually like to read, but I'm not seeing. I mean, obviously, nobody's really playing Ashes of Creation, so there's nobody except for us in that area. I'm not really sure who to go raid. If you guys have any ideas, Simurga's not on. Maybe we can set up a system of bait characters and have alt link a rare gatherable in node chat and ask, hey guys, I have 50 of these on me. Are they worth anything? And have a group lying in the wait for the people going red on the alt.
No,
I
people
like it.
used to do that in RuneScape, and it made me so angry.
Oh,
They just put on really expensive gear and then bait you out into like multi-combat areas of the wilderness, and then boom, PvP clan.
rude.
Yeah,
Rude.
there was there were people doing that in Ultima Online. They would bait people by like pretending to be almost dead, and they're barely making it to a portal they put up, and then they would go through the portal, and that portal would lead to a cavern in the middle of nowhere where 4 of their friends waited with spells already going that just shred anybody not in their party.
Jeez.
So anybody steps through the portal and they die instantly.
Yeah. Fun times.
But yeah, there's the little chibi. So sad with the phoenix. It's no longer a big phoenix, I guess. I don't know what happened there.
Oh,
But I do know there was the message about you know, Falu, or shout out to Falu for noticing the details. What details did I miss?
Almost like a chicken.
Bok bok.
Bok bok.
Looks almost. I dare you to eat it. I dare you. Gonna have a full-blown phoenix resurrecting your tum tum. That can't be fun.
Yeah, that just doesn't work out well. Don't do it. Don't try it at all.
Don't try it. Don't try it. But
It does look
Sir.
like chicken though.
so, for those who don't know, did you have any socials or anything else to share out for peoples? Anything else you wanted to tell people about? Anything to share?
His Twitch that it did not get linked.
Not so much. I've been taking kind of a break from streaming. I got a lot on the go, and streaming's just sort of a fun thing for me. I don't have a really set, stable schedule, so I'll get on it a little bit more as probably as Alpha 2, maybe even Beta start coming around, but for now it's just sporadic whenever I'm feeling it. But yeah, it's d2Phoenixfire on Twitch, and I'm not really on any other platforms or anything. I don't have a YouTube or anything, so.
Which is alright, Nothing wrong with that. But you guys heard it here. If everybody on Twitch were to go follow that link right there, we will see a D2Phoenixfire live every day, all day. That's exactly what he said, word for word. I'm just stating it again.
Yeah, 60 hours a week. Extra try hard.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm just saying, if literally everybody on Twitch was like, yeah, we'll show up for like a couple months to your thing, I would definitely make it my full-time job. But, you know, while we're dreaming and making up imaginary numbers.
Heard it here first, yep.
Chibi, did you have anything else you wish to share?
Nope, that's about it for me.
Because I do believe that I've shared everything that I found super crazy interesting. I mean, I'm not going to lie, there was actually a good bit of stuff on the forums. So, I mean, do swing by the forums and check it out, because there was some more stuff.
Yeah, there's actually much more interesting on the forums than on Reddit at the moment, which I'm actually grateful for, because I like the forums more anyway.
Yeah, it's usually the other way, I'm not going to lie. Usually there's a lot more things happening on Reddit than on the forums, but this time right now, there's probably like 30 posts that have been updated today.
Yeah, versus the 10 maybe that have been posted since last week.
Yeah, so if you haven't been to the forums in a while, now's the time to check them out. Just saying.
Yeah, if you've actually never been to the forums at all, it's a great place to check it out in general. See all the art there that we miss. Gotta go back through and start looking at the art on there. Wonder if people are still posting arts. Gotta look into that.
Well, they are. They are.
Gotta love the arts. Well, do you have any ideas of who we could raid?
I do not. And I didn't see anybody popping up. You know, there is, I suppose, Hero.
That must be somebody
Hero
that you
Vision.
follow.
Yeah, it's somebody I bumped into over on the CC Exchange.
Okay.
And I think we raided him once before. He had Zillion on. They were doing like the chat of something. I forget what they called the show. And that makes me a bad friend and viewer. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But they had a show going. And we popped in and we said hi.
Okay.
So we could probably do that. We could raid Hero Vision.
I'm surprised because if we raided them before, I usually follow people we raid, so.
Well, you get to do it this time.
Right.
Or did you say Keybind was up and doing stuff?
Yeah, but whoever. Who do you want to raid?
Did we raid Keybind already yet? Or no?
I don't know. I can't remember.
So let's do
we've
it.
had him on our show.
Because I know we've raided Hero, so let's go ahead and let's raid Keybind. Because if we can't recall if we raided him, we probably didn't.
Okay, well he's playing Lost Ark right now.
A game of interest to many, one would say.
Yeah.
If you are interested in that, we are gonna... Wait, what? Where'd it go? Why? Why did you do that? Start raid?
Oh, there it is.
There
There it
go.
is.
Got it.
While this
Alright.
thing is getting all spun up and ready to go, I want to say thank you everybody for stopping by. Thank you for spending your time here. You could have been doing anything with it, including creating your own channel to rival ours. Why would you do that? But you weren't, so you're here, so we love you even more.
Bye, Grumpy.
Bye, Grumpy. Go get you some chicken. Not
Yes,
Phoenix.
chicken.
Chicken. Actual chicken.
Yes. And thank you, Phoenix, for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, don't eat Phoenix either. Okay.
Yeah, no, don't do it.
Don't
Well,
do it.
I promise.
We may not be here next week, but that is up in the air. Vertec is traveling for a week, so yeah, we have a limited amount of time before the raid just goes. But wanted to toss that.
Yeah, I'm traveling for work, and I will know probably at the beginning of next week if I will be here at the end of next week. So we'll keep you posted.
Keep an eye on our Twitter or our Discord. So.
Or both. You know, why not both?
You know, yeah.
Either way, everybody have yourselves a happy day. We go raid now.
Thank you for joining us. Bye.